31,000 V4 address and 16,000 V6 address. And it was noted that their IPv6 is deployed in multifaceted ways with rapidly growing users and traffic. And main activities were they had an IP Alliance conference in June in Beijing, and they also provide IPv6 and RPKI training in July, and November they will provide another training in Hangzhou, and they are plan to upgrade RPKI and WHOIS system by the end of this year. Next, TWNIC update was delivered by Tim Wang and Wen Yu Chen. They have 282 members, and they have 1,032/24 V4 address, and they have 2,500/32 V6. And they're, as one of leading countries in terms of IPv6 deployment, their IPv6 user availability reached at 39, which is 8th in global ranking. And they had also 32nd TWNIC Open Policy Meeting in June, and discussions here in APNIC APNIC policy and cooperation secret topics were discussed. And also they work with APNIC to deliver IPv6 training, and also they provided the ROA trainings for members. And they plan to hold another IPv6 and RPKI trainings in the future. Okay, third one was APNIC update. They have 413 members and 15,000/22 V4 addresses and 72/32 V6 address. And their V6, it was noted that their V6 deployment is driven by the government, and the government set up IPv6 national plan in 2011, and they achieved a V6 adoption ratio of 39 in 2019. And also, they provide public online services for the government agencies, and they also collaborated with other relative organizations, other NIRs. With KISA, they signed the MOU and also co-hosted the business meeting with Korean ICT companies in last month. And also, they provide RPKI workshop with the APNIC and JPNIC, and hosted the VNIX NOC. And KISA participated and delivered presentations and keynote speech. And they will focus on promoting V6 and RPKI in this year. And next one was, I made an update about KISA, KRLIC update. And we have 96 members, and IPv4 address is 112 million and 5,000/32 V6 addresses. And we're still keeping stable management, and the numbers compared with the previous years stayed the same, and because of a saturated market in recent years. And also, we provide the 4th edition of Asia Pacific Internet Governance Academy. We invited about 20 students from Asia Pacific region, and local another 20 from Korea. And we provided, we trained them about basic internet governance and IP and domain number resource, internet address resources. And also, as I mentioned before, we signed with VNIC, and actually this year, KISA was very busy because of a relocation to rural area in November, which is 2 months away. So I expect more work with other NIRs after relocation, maybe next year. So next, JPNIC update was delivered by Hiroshi Kawata-san. Japan has 449 members. They have 132 million V4 addresses and 7,000 V6/32 addresses. And it was noted that the market is very active for IPv4 and AS number transfer inter alliers. And as a leading country in IPv6 deployment, they provide seminars, V6 seminars and information sharing throughout year. And also, they are working very hard about RPKI, and it was presented that 96 resource certificates were created, issued, and 393 ROAs are created. And they had a JPNIC open policy meeting and also outreach to the local community, to local different communities. And next one, IDNIC. Updated by UDA, and they have 500 members and 22,000/24 V4 addresses, and they have about 20 million V6 addresses. And they just launched a resource management system called My IDNIC and members, and also they presented them, some members implemented ROA and RPKI. And they had an open policy meeting in June in North Sumatra. And they plan to provide RPKI and IPv6 training in Yogyakarta in August. Okay, next, ARIN update was made by Subham. They have about 2,700 members and 11 million IPv4 addresses, 6 billion/56 V6 addresses. And it was noted that they have a high IPv6 propagation with a 55% user ratio and 69% of readiness. And also they had OPM in July this year, and members were briefed about APNIC policy proposals and technical development. And group photo. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you to all the NIRs as well for participating and being our partners. I see the Policy SIG chair back in the room. So let's do the Policy SIG report next.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I have to present the Policy SIG reports. We have two sessions today. And here is the agenda, started with NRO election. Thanks to Apta Siddiqui for being re-elected. So just those who are new here, again, this is the policy chart, existing policy charter. In the Policy SIG, we develop policies and procedures which relates to the management and use of internet address resources by APNIC, NIR, and ISPs within the Asia-Pacific region. And first step, you can join the mailing list. And here's the web address of the Policy SIG. Slides are not moving. I'm seeing different slide here. Anyway, this one is one slide ahead. Anyway, yeah, fine. So those who don't know that I'm Shona Vestavi, the SIG chair, along with Burton Sherrier and Cheng Ku, the co-chair in the Policy SIG. And we are extremely supported by NRO NC/SOAC, Aptak Siddiqui, Pratish Jain, and Saman Solbarwi. And the steps of implementation procedures, I will not go in detail. You can take a look at the websites. We don't have much time here. And then we go with the implementation update that the policies passed in the previous meetings. First with Prop 125, validation of AWS mailbox and IRT objects, IRT emails. This policy was passed in APNIC 46 and is already in the implementation phase. Implementation is going on, and phase 2 starts in December 2019. In APNIC 47, we have passed 2 proposals. One of them is change the maximum delegation size of 103/8 address pool to a /23 from /22. And it is already implemented on 29th February 2019. Prop 128, multi-homing not required for ASN. This proposal also passed in APNIC 47 and is already implemented in 2nd July 2019. Prop 129, abolishing waiting list for unmet IPv4 requests. Before that, Prop 128, it was there, but this policy actually abolishes the waiting list, and it is also implemented on 2nd July 2019. And in last APNIC 47, we have discussed that we need to modify or update the policy charter to include broaden the scope. We have a very nice discussion in the morning, and eventually we agreed to that the policy charter develop policies which relate to the management of internet number resources within the Asia Pacific region. And this includes policies for resource allocation, recovery and transfer, and the resource restoration within WHOIS, reverse DNS, RPKI, and related services. And this proposed switch charter reached consensus in the policy meeting. We have discussed Prop 124, clarification of IPv6 sub-assignment. It is quite while in the mailing list and discussed in the earlier meetings. And this meeting, it also didn't reach consensus. We have discussed Prop 126 PDP update. Again, a few changes in the PDP, but some part of it got support, but didn't reach consensus in the policy meeting as a whole. So we have discussed Prop 123, modification of transfer policies, and this policies didn't reach consensus again in the policy meeting. Prop 131, editorial changes in IPv6 policies. So it suggests some editorial changes in the IPv6 policy, intent to remove non-necessary text and simplify the policy, and it reached consensus in the policy meeting. The last proposal we have discussed, Prop 123, RPKI ROAS for unallocated and unassigned APNIC address space. It was earlier named as A0 for Bogans. And we have a lot of discussion in the Middle East on this proposal and discussion in the policy meeting in this morning. It reached consensus, but with some cautions about the implementation, how challenging it would be or something. So things to be taken care of by the APNIC Secretariat, how they will implement. And these 3 proposals actually, SIG Charter and Prop 131 and 132 is up for consensus here. So yep. I'll go with the SIG Charter first. And
yep, let's go for the SIG Charter. So for those of who were not paying attention in the morning discussion, one of our process is that policies that go through the policy SIG and its consensus is called for consensus again at the members meeting. And so that's what we're going to do now. And obviously the policy SIG charter is not itself a policy, but it still follows the same process. So we're going to ask for consensus that we approve this proposed new charter, new and improved charter for the policy SIG in this meeting.
yeah, you can.
So I would call for those who are in who are against this policy, against this change of charter, to raise their hands. There seems to be no opposition. Those in support? Thank you. I think that kind of reaffirms what we saw this morning. So thank you, 6 chairs. I think we can say that this can be implemented tomorrow. So we'll have to figure out how this works, the 6 charter change, because whether it has to go through EC endorsement or not. But this has been, I can declare that this change of charter has reached consensus. So we move on to the next one.
Yeah, but it's moving here, but it's not moving in these 2 screens.
Arth, can we move to the next policy that reached
Prop
consensus?
131. Yeah, now it's started moving.
This one.
Yep.
So we reached consensus on this policy in the policy SIG. Prop 131, editorial changes in IPv6 policy. The policy mainly makes multiple editorial clarifications and changes to the IPv6 policy, allocation policy, or assignment policy, because I think that's the change, one of the changes it handles. It reached consensus, so I'm going to recall for consensus. Is there any opposition to this particular policy? None. Those in support, please raise your hands. Looks good. Thank you very much. I can say that this policy has reached consensus in the AMM. So we'll move forward. Prop 131. Next one is Prop 132, which obviously was discussed earlier before lunch. RPKI ROAs for unallocated and unassigned APNIC address space. This proposal was initially proposed as AS0 for Bogans, but this policy reached consensus at the policy SIG. I call for consensus here. Is there any opposition to this policy or comments? None? Those in support of this? Moving forward? Thank you. Looks there is a consensus and no opposition to this particular policy. So I can declare that this has reached consensus and can move forward. As for the other policies, what are the state? Are they proceeding ahead, or they're?
Actually, I just bring one discussion at the end of the policies that it has been proposed that we can have a overhauling of all the policy documents and relation between. I think there is some gaps, so APNIC Secretariat can take action that they can try to overhaul the whole, look at the whole overall all the documents and sync between them, because a lot of proposals we are seeing that are coming of editorial changes, some of the text changes, all these things. So probably it's time to review it again. So that can be, in that case, probably we can avoid some of the proposals that are continuously coming and couldn't pass through. Some of the things are people are supporting, but part of it not supporting. Eventually, the proposal will not get passed. So I think we need to talk with the authors, and we can decide about that whether we'll be dropping those proposals or will be in the mailing list again.
There's a slight confusion. That's why I'm standing here to clarify.
I think what I would say is rather than try to discuss the process here, I think I agree that we talked about doing an overhaul of our policies, or policy documents, not the policy. Sorry about that.
Exactly. Thanks.
Policy documents. And
sorry
text.
for the misleading text.
Yeah, editorial and bringing it aligned, because the way our policy works is we go and make piecemeal changes, and after a while it looks the whole thing looks like Frankenstein, for the lack of a better word. So we need to clean that up, and I think that is an effort we can start. So I'll let the 6 chairs confer with the authors and decide on the next course of action, but I think the right thing would be to move forward with the cleanup. Thank you, Sumon. Thank you, Patmat. Thank you, Chinghu, all the 6 chairs. And thank you to all the, thank you to Yodi and Aftab for the proposals and the exciting discussions. So we go to the next one, which is going to be the report from the cooperation SIG. Joy, okay, there.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I am, as the first-time chair for the Cooperation SIG, I want to say thank you very much for having me serving this great with honor on this role. And for this Cooperation SIG happened 2 days ago on the 10th. The very first thing at this specific place for the first meeting. Okay. These are the people I want to give my sincere and honest appreciation. It's without them, this Cooperation SIG will not be able to carry so successfully. Start the very beginning time by the invitation to working with them on the contents and to really stimulate everybody's thoughts. Coming to this new thing we are carrying on this Cooperation SIG is the internet and jurisdiction. Now, this is not an easy topic to tackle, but we certainly did it with a lot of the efforts from the team and as well as from the APNIC staff support. The thing is, on internet and jurisdiction, as I said, there's many different subtopics that we can carry out, and with various discussions, some could be very controversial, but greatly that we have been put together with 3 speakers. The 3 speakers are giving a deep dive, talking about internet and jurisdiction. Nicole, who had opened up the speak by the internet global change and what are the threats and the trend that's going on. And Professor Choi from Korea has been giving a very in-depth specific incident on the IP addressing cross-boundary and jurisdiction on this attribution. And closing that we have Professor Mimi, who's coming from Myanmar, who talking about with all the different controversial issues and incidents, this topics relates back to the basic, how she has been taught from her class in the graduate school and as well as undergraduate school to the back to the basic on some of the internet ethics and moral development. And not only with the 3 specific talks, we also have 2 light sharing from 2 different economies. One is specifically from Thailand here, the other one is from Nepal. So Nicole, like I said, she has been brought up this topic with very, very good introduction about how the internet, how the global has been changing the economy. The different cybercrime cases, the different cyber jurisdiction cases that she has brought us some of it. And then we carried out to the internet governances with the policy development and talk to this global standard. And we are here at APNIC, when we are discussing the issues like this, we are actually making the standards and making these norms together. And then next, as I said, Professor Choi from Korea, he's talking about IP addressing and cross-boundary cooperation. Now, this is not an easy thing to say, but he has brought from the global scale on the cyber attack maps into the difficult things about how to attack with the attributes and why it's making such thing a difficult to explore. And then we come to pretty much the consensus about that's the needs for multi-stakeholder cooperations. Coming to the third presentation from Professor Mimi, she has brought about the internet ethic and etiquette, the different issues on internet ethic. and the media and the information literacy. So all these issues are out there, but she put it so nicely together. And then we talked about the skill and morale development. How is she being able to, in her research lab, to develop the skill and the morale? Those are the fundamentals when the youth are taking classes back in colleges, when they go out to the real world, that they have the best standards in there. So those 3 talks pretty much close as an exploration for the cooperation SIG here to look into the internet jurisdiction. And then we have 2 light talks. The light talks are from Thailand. As we are here standing in the land of Thailand, that we know that we are moving toward to the digital platform with the digital economies and everything else. The fundamental infrastructure remains to be the very important things to be built. But with that, the cybersecurity becomes even a bigger issue. So more and more things we need to tackle because things are moving so fast. And in consensus with that, Nepal, Big Ren has also mentioned pretty much the same thing. So the changing world with the internet jurisdiction, that's certainly worth a while to tackle, to deep dive into many, many of the things. So with the 5 speakers that we had to share at the Cooperation SIG, we are looking forward for all your participation coming to us and let us know what are some of the things and concerns that you have with the internet jurisdiction, because it does come with different flavors and with different emphasis for each different economy. Hopefully that we can work together here at the Cooperation SIG, that we can bring up the issues together and work more closely as the theme of the Cooperation SIG is for. And with that, I close with a thank you for all your participation.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you for both the chairs of the Cooperation SIG. Joy and Bikram is somewhere here. Somewhere. Thank you very much. We will keep on going with this series of reports, and the next would be Kenny, to my left here, reporting on the IPv6 deployment. Well, it's a report on the session that was conducted on IPv6 deployment. So,
Sorry.
okay.
Thank you, Chair. Kenny Huang. I'm going to give an IPv6 deployment report. Since the last few years, we are really repositioned from IPv6 management transition to reposition to IPv6 deployment, because we think IPv6 is going to take off. So we will focus much more resource on IPv6 deployment. So basically, we have 5 presentations in this section, including Jeff Houston, IPv6 performance, and the other different operator. They introduce IPv6 deployment in Thailand and in Japan, in Vietnam, and also in Tonga. Okay, starting from IPv6 deployment in Thailand, presented by Tonapan from True Corporation. He introduced True Group, all the network product and services, and also a brief history of IPv6 in the internet from year 2012 until right now, and also they have IPv6 development plan in the future. Second speaker from Jeff Houston. Jeff, as you know, he is very good at to do all the scientific computation. So he's doing the research, compare the performance and reliability between IPv6 and IPv4. So he highlights some of his discovery, including IPv6 TCP connection failure is 1.4%. Which is considered much better than 4% failure in the early 2017, but still not good enough. But anyway, a lot of cases, there are ongoing issues with IPv6 reliability in many parts of the world. And also, we have IPv6 deployment section presented by Koji-san from SoftBank, and he introduced the mobile IPv6 operation and also talking about the schedule. Since the government and major 3 mobile operators, they have eventually launched IPv6 by year 2017. And also they share some IPv6 deployment issue, process, technical, operational issues. Next one will be IPv6 deployment in Vietnam by Nguyen, his deputy director from APNIC, and he introduced the IPv6 development since year 2011 until right now, and explain why and how VNet going to develop IPv6. Also, they finished National IPv6 Action Plan, and they're going to have some future plan for IPv6 as well. The last one is Mali from Donga Communication. He introduced the island in the IPv6 world and also tried to explain why Pacific Island did not deploy IPv6, talking about what kind of challenge and difficulty to deploy IPv6. And also they share some motivation for IPv6 deployment in Donga Communication Corporation. And Donga are the third of APNIC IPv6 measurement adoption in the Oceanian region. So IPv6 capable should be increased by 500% or more if fully enabled to after they deploy ADSL and fiber user. Okay, that will be ample IPv6 deployment section. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. Well, we've been doing IPv6 for a long, long time, so now we'll start doing an RPKI. So next is the RPKI BOF report. Let's see which is more exciting.
Hello everyone. Well, certainly it's not a new snake oil, so let me sell RPKI to you. So we had conducted an RPKI BOF in the APNIC48. Why we did this? So APNIC started a campaign on Ready to ROA with a very nice T-shirt, 2015. Did some amazing roadshows and campaigning and trying to convince people to create ROAs. It worked really well to some extent, but still there's a big gap between the invalid and valid, unknown and valid ROAs. So what we understand that we still have to do a lot of things. We still have to do community engagement and convince people that why they need to sign ROAs. A little bit of history. Myself with some of my colleagues, we have been doing this for a long time. We did the routing security BOF in Apricot 2018, routing security BOF in Apricot 2019. Before that, it was a network security BOF. So we were trying to come up with a platform where we can discuss all these issues. These are the pictures from the RPKI BOF we did on 11th of September. Very good attendance, even though we took a lot of time from the Meet the EC cocktail, but people were still there. They preferred to skip a few drinks, but not RPKI. So it was interesting, very fruitful discussion. And at the end of that discussion, we had this question for the audience. The question was, well, we had some good time. We discussed few really important things for the operators, but there must be more questions. More questions today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. And for that, we need a platform. And that platform has to be, of course, put into the streamline rather than doing BOFs again and again and again. So for that, we had few discussions on that note moving forward. I would like to suggest, before I suggest something, I would like to say a word of thanks to a few people who supported this idea. Dr. Philip Smith, Simon Baroi, Dr. D. Ma, Rupesh Shrestha, unfortunately, who is not here right now, but he supported me in last 2 apricots to make sure that this moves on. And of course, the EC was there in most of the sessions. And people like Martin Levy, Job Snyder, they provided really good feedback so that we can improve it further. So here is the proposal after that session. As per the process, to create a SIG, first you have to do a BOF. I think we have done enough BOFs. Then you have to agree on the charter. We had agreement on the charter within few folks. That's why it's now open for the discussion. And then you have to show how many people attended that session and how was the involvement. Most of the EC were there, so they must have seen the involvement, and I put on the pictures so you can see that it was fully It was full at some point, so I can easily say more than 50 to 60 people were there in the room. It's enough involvement from the community to start something formally. So I am proposing in front of the community and to the EC to make that decision. I said draft charter for routing security /RPKI/STAR-SIG. I have no problem if EC or the community decide to name something else, but it should be in a scope which is defined as per the charter. So I have no problem with changing the name, but it has to be something realistic and close to operational community. Over to the EC and the community to decide. Gaurav?
Do you have any more slides, or this is the last?
I don't have any other slides.
I think this is a good proposal, but as usual, we'll call for show of hands from the members here to proceed ahead with the creation of this SIG, pending the confirmation of the name and the formal charter at the first meeting of the SIG when that convenes. So those of you in favor of creating a SIG that is focused on RPKI and secure interdomain routing, please raise their hands. I'll raise my hand, I'm in favor, so.
So as Maz.
Yep. Thank you. Those who think this is a really bad idea, please raise your hands. Okay, I think that is resolved, that we will proceed with formation of this new SIG, pending, the name and the formal charter. And I think do you have any suggestions on the interim stewards for this?
Yes, if I till the next meeting, if I may propose Dr. Deema and Rupesh Shrestha for co-chairing with me. I'll do it till the next one only, and then as per the procedure, we will do the elections and hand it over to the community.
Okay, so I think that is fair until the first meeting where the name, the charter, and the chair should be selected going forward. Until then, the three of you would have the responsibility to get it through the process.
Okay, thank you so much.
As stewards. Thank you, Aftab, for doing this for so many years.
Thank you.
And good job. Now we will do an open mic for 10 minutes. Earlier I had to cut short a bit, but I think we caught up a little bit now. So if there are any questions, I mean, Aftab was trying to get to the mic earlier. And I see Parhar over there. So start on my left with Parhar.
I've got a couple of points. The first point is on policy formulation. Now, why I'm raising this point is because of the various policies that were introduced today and the discussions that took place, set my mind thinking that is there something more which we can do, which makes the audience who's here a little more knowledgeable, a little more capable to take the decisions that are required to be taken. So the thought that came to my mind was, which I have seen in bits and pieces in other parts of the world, is that once a policy comes to the chair of SIG, policy SIG, that policy is discussed internally by them whether it is acceptable or not acceptable. If it is acceptable, fine. If it is not, then it is returned back straight away. No second thoughts on that. But if it is generally acceptable, yes, it has some value, it will help the community at large, then what they should do is, they should send it to the Secretariat, APNIC Secretariat, to give their comments on that policy. Reason is that number of bylaws need to be studied, number of rules and regulations needs to be studied, and a proper advice needs to be given on that policy to the chair. And when in the meeting that policy is presented by the proposer, after he has presented his proposal, the advice that has been given by the Secretariat on that should also form part of the information that is being given to the audience. Now that will help in clarifying a lot of issues, and you will get a better response to the policy proposal.
Thank you, Prahar. We'll take that into record. No. We'll take that into record, and as Sunny wants to comment, I would suggest that you catch up with Sunny. It looks like you are talking about improvement in our PDP, and we've talked about it earlier, so, you know, it's the right time to do that. I think you'll need to write a proposal, just like Yodi did, to improve the PDP. So, can you make it short, because we are really...
Yeah. The question is that the Secretariat does clear the things, but then, you know, it is on an open mic, the clarity is not there that much. What would be when it is given in black and white on the screen, right? So that is what my first point was. So, you can tackle it whichever way you want. My second point is on the financials. The slides went off too fast, I couldn't catch up to all the figures. But what I noticed was that the financial reserves that we are building, they are at 16.25 or 29 at the moment, months. Now, that has been, I think, a general band in which it is still roaming for fairly long time. It has not increased. Now, which sets me thinking is that it is not increasing because either we do not have any funds or we are not making allocations to it. Now, we need to do one of them so that this increases. Now, the other question that comes to my mind is probably you do not have funds. Understandable. Also, the issue one has learnt is that there is currency fluctuations going on. So that also will be affecting the financials. So my suggestion to the EC would be that, and the Secretariat would be, that please go into it in a little detail. Don't let things slide beyond a particular time, then recovery becomes a little more difficult. Even if some hard decisions need to be taken, please take it. Because financial strength of APNIC is very essential. We are in for tough global times. Depression is going to be there. Economies are going to get depressed. But we need to secure our organization because that is what is supporting the complete number resources for the Asia-Pac region.
Thank you, Parar. I think that is always a concern, and that's why I was highlighting that it is actually gone down a little bit this year. So this is going to be some tough work on our side because, as you said, the Australian currency losing its value against the USD, plus a bunch of other market pressures, and does have a impact. We've been lucky that the inflation in Australia has been very, very low, which has helped keep our cost at a very, very stable basis. But this is definitely something we'll be looking at, and we've looked quite extensively for the strategic meeting. So we'll probably see, improvements going further on all aspects of that. But very, very well taken. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's it. I just wanted to get it to...
On this side, Aftab?
Yep. Aftab Siddiqui. I have a quick one. I have one request to APNIC. I think it should be with the EC, that please review the APNIC training cost. Sometimes in some countries it is not realistic to the market value. It's very high. Whatever the format chosen many, many years ago, it's not working. It has to be reviewed at least every 2 years or something like that. Some countries are really struggling to pay that enormous amount. So please review it. I don't have a magic number to give or a magic formula to give right now, but it should be reviewed by the EC or some financial institution, making sure that the country's economy should remain in mind before you go ahead and fix a value.
Thank you, Aftab. I think that's a pretty straightforward for us to look at. So definitely something we'll take that up. And, you know, I would suggest you talk to Sanjaya later on. Yodi.
Thank you. A little bit in line with what was said before, something that is being done in other regions, and I don't think we should need a PDP modification for that. If you want that, I send a new proposal right now.
No, we don't
but
want
I
that.
don't think it's necessary. Analysis impact. So I think it will be good if when the authors send a policy proposal and the discussion starts, in addition to have hopefully a much better discussion and contribution from the community in the list, there is also a review from the staff about if it makes sense, what is the impact, and so on. I really think that as an author in all the regions, this helps a lot to have a much better proposal when you come to the meeting. So I will think really we don't need a policy, PDP change for that. It's just the Secretariat to invest some time in looking at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Yodi. I think we, you know, earlier when I was saying I was more in jest, we do need to talk, you know, earlier we talked about doing the write-ups and making sure that the process, as we said a long time ago, gets reviewed on a periodic basis. So we'll come up with something back to the community to see how we can incorporate these suggestions and make the process a lot more streamlined and easier for those of us or those of you who haven't done this for a long time to get in sync. So I see two more folks, so this two would be the last two comments. Potmo?
Yes, just to answer to Jordi, it's already the case. If you need help to write a proposal, well, Secretariat will always receive the proposal, and if it's something completely undoable, they will tell you right away.
Potmo, I think we'll take this discussion offline, not right now. So we have one last question here on the left.
Hello, this is Praneeth from India. And since we are towards the end of the sessions, I just want to mention something very quickly. So we had this session in the beginning from the Treasurer, Kenny. And I really want to thank you a lot for the fellowships you have been providing and the entire council and APNIC. It's because of you all, your entire effort, everybody, the team, that so many young people like me are able to participate and join and know so much and meet such amazing people. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we will, you know, we appreciate the feedback, and you know, we'll send you a feedback form later on to get more detailed feedback. But I'm glad, you know, the efforts we make towards welcoming our newcomers is giving us new blood into our community. With this, close the open mic. Obviously, you can still talk later to any of us or to anyone from the Secretariat. We will now have a couple of quick reports and then go towards the actual closing proceedings. So we'll request Chihu Cheng to do a quick report on APIX. APIX is the Asia Pacific Internet Exchange Association.
Hi, I'm doing this report for Toyama-san of JPNAP. He is the chair of APNIC Association. And APIX Association. APIX is the Association of Internet Exchange Points in Asia Pacific region, started in 2010. And it's also a member of a global IX federation. You know, the reason why there is APIX is, you know, they have a lot of in common. They do the same business and have similar kind of issues. So, you know, the IXPs want to use the platform to share information, experience about technical operational business issues and the solutions. And right now, there are, 5 members on the steering committees. There are Toyama-san from JPNAP from Japan, who is the chair. Vijay from APNIC, he's stationed in Singapore, he's the secretary. And Tom Paseka, he's representing NZIX. He's based in US, but of course NZIX is based in New Zealand. And Vivian from Mumbai is also called DKIX India now, from India. He's the treasurer. And Rupesh from NPIX, from Nepal. And between the last meeting and this meeting, they had one new member, which is from local Thailand Internet Exchange, THIX. And altogether, right now, they have 31 IXPs as their members from 18 economies. You can see all the names here. And here too. Between the 2 meetings was, as I mentioned, a new member joining, and they had issue of membership fee collections. They think about, doing bylaw changes to at least to stop people from doing nomination or voting if they don't pay, etc. And also they're trying to do website improvement. They have a special working group for that right now. And at the meeting earlier this week, they have the THIX to do a presentation about the peering landscape in Thailand, which was a very good presentation. And they also had Mike from CNX in Cambodia to talk about Cambodia internet exchange environment. And they also address RPKI, and so they had 3 talks from Martin Levy of Carfair, Tomohiro from JPNAP, and Kitanan from KPNIX. And I hope they would do more, ROV for the IXPs. And there was also an interesting presentation from JPIX guy called Masataka, and he talks about supporting JPIX members to connect to HKIX remotely, which is becoming a very new concept to connect to IXP. And there was also Kitamura-san from JPRS who talked about M-Roots at the IX in the region. I think it has attracted some interest. And there was discussion again about the membership fee, penalty, etc. But there was no decision. And one key activity that they will do in the coming months will be Peering Asia 3.0. And it is a open peering forum for networks around the region or even from outside the region to talk about peering. And it was under the administration of APNIC Association. And Peering Asia 3.0, the third conference will be held in November in KL, and registration is open. So if you are running a network which would do peering, you're recommended to join. But first of all, you need to have AS number and you are really doing peering, because they really assess the registration, and there is some restriction per network to join. And also the call for presentation has been open, so if you want to do presentation over there, please submit your presentation. And this is the location and the website, and that's it.
Thank you, Chihu.
Thank you.
I liked it how it said deadline is there, but it is still open. So I guess the next report will be the Women in ICT update from Sophia.
Hello, I'm Sophia. I'm a product manager with APNIC. I'm sorry I didn't prepare slides, but I just wanted to share a quick summary on the Women in ICT lunch session we had yesterday at lunchtime. It was sponsored by IPv4 Global, and we had the participation of MAS representing the APNIC Executive Council. We had around 100 people participating with a female-male balance of about half and half, which was very interesting. The session was filmed and made available through the Facebook account of APNIC. We had some remote participation as well. It consisted on an open forum over lunch, followed by the contribution of 3 guest speakers, Narelle Wakely, Mary Rose of Yanga, and Pensri Aruwatanamongo. Sorry, Pensri, if I didn't pronounce that right. During the first part of the session, there were different topics discussed at the tables, themed around the challenges that women experience in the ICT sector. Then some summaries were shared with the rest of the room, and we finished with our guest speakers sharing some insights from the personal stories. Some of the most inspiring insights that were shared during the session were about how in different economies women experience different challenges. For example, in South Asian countries, women are not expected to do field jobs and usually end up doing documentation work, while in Thailand, the ICT sector is a female-dominated sector. We also talked about mansplaining, which is something some men do when trying to dominate women, explaining something that women already know and may even do better than them. Also, a collection of some amazing advice was shared, and I will just quote, be confident and empower yourself. Don't be afraid to try, keep failing, have fun and try again. Learn by doing, keep learning new things. Even when failing, be kind to yourself, worry less and enjoy life more. Listen to yourself and be true to yourself. Embrace the differences instead of trying to be more like men. Our guest speakers talked about the importance of teamwork to maximize everybody's potential and the importance of women networking forums and communities. They talked about how we all have a responsibility to make a change and create the right culture, and for that, we need to take action by participating, being a role model, or being a mentor, for example. They also talked about the importance of empathy when suffering from bullying and imposter syndrome. So I would like to thank everyone who participated. It was really an amazing session. Thanks.
Thank you, Thank you, Sophia, for the update and the excellent organization of the event. Now we go on to a report by Tauhid about the conference infrastructure.
Thanks, Carl. My name is Tauhid from APNIC Infrastructure Services. So, well, I'm not here to talk about what we do in APNIC as an infrastructure services. I'm talking about conference network. Oops. All right. Oh. Yeah, there's a problem. All right. Okay, as you can see here, this is our conference network schematics, and it's a simple network. It's very similar to other networks: two core routers, 2 core switches, a bunch of other switches, access points, laptops, and other stuff, and connected to 2 ISPs. It looks simple, but believe me, it's not, because the environment or the plane we are implementing this network is very complex. So we will see it. Is it a really 3 days effort? Of course not. First of all, it's 8 days event, so 5 days workshop, 3 days conference. But it is just not that. We start about like 10 months before the conference. We do a site survey, we go to the place, we visit the possible or potential hotels, ISP, talk to the ISPs, the audio video teams, we talked with, to the host. 2 months ago, once things get serious, we talk serious business and finalize everything with the sponsors, hotel, IT, host. Also, we do update IRP geolocation and who is objects of our resources we're going to use in APNIC conference. And about 1 or 2 weeks, we prepare for shipment. We ship everything. We don't carry it. And we finalize the configuration, and eventually we ship the equipment. So normally what we ask is, we look for 2 ISPs, 2 different ISPs, which they provide a full dual stack IP connectivity, so we don't lack tunneling for IPv6. And we always ask for full BGP feed for both V6 and V4. We like to have a hotel with interconnectivity to minimize cabling and also uninterrupted power to avoid outage. What do we use? We use two routers, 8 switches, and main wireless controller, another one as a backup, and a bunch of access points, 20 in this case for this conference. And also 2 laptops to run essential services for internet. So you can see here there are 2. This is the a picture I took it before shipping the equipment, our mini rack. What do we mean by essential services? So we run bind 9.4.14.3 and 2 laptops for DNS-64 and DNSSEC validation. We're also running key 1.6.0 in HA mode for DHCP version 4. And we use Prometheus Grafana Alert Manager for metric collection and also alerting. And also we have an integration between Alert Manager and a Slack. And finally, we also use NFSen for collecting net flow information on metrics. There is another one. There is another thing we're running on the laptop. I'll talk about it later. This is a screenshot of alerting. So we have a Slack channel for conference. So we receive alerts and we act, or all of us will receive alerts and we act if it's relevant. So we're running a bunch of services on just 2 laptops. Are they performing well or okay for a conference with about 400 people? Well, as a matter of fact, so I have the load average 1-minute interval for the 2 laptops. It seems they're doing okay. So 0.1 or 0.15 is the load average of the 2. Internet resources, AS24555, 220.2247, 144.0/20, that's our IPv4. 2001:DF9::/32, that's our IPv6, which we're sharing with APRICOT, of course. So we update the geolocation to show the Thailand. That's, by the way, that's our NetHawks, our new product. What about webcast? We use 4 AV mixers, 7 webcast laptops, 5 IP cameras, a bunch of other things like cables, connectors, adapters. How do we carry this stuff? One mini rack and 15 equipment boxes. So we ship everything here, we unpack it here, install it, and today we're going to pack everything back and send it back tomorrow to Brisbane. Let's see some stats. So we had the maximum number of 387 Wi-Fi clients. So we achieved this on the first day of the conference. during the keynote. And if I read it down to different SSIDs, the normal Wi-Fi APNIC-conference 315, the V6 only Wi-Fi 45, and the edge room 37. That's a bit more in the internet traffic. How did we use the internet uplink? If I can read it correctly, 239 megabit per second on one router and 125 on the other one down. The bytes, we managed to receive 1.344 terabytes of data at the same time with 385 gigabytes we send out to the internet. The packets, we managed to receive 1.6 billion packets and send out 900 million, about 900 million packets. So these are up to this before the lunchtime, the figures. Capturing from the NFSEN or via NetFlow, IPv6 versus IPv4, our traffic. So about 20 to 30% of our traffic was IPv6 from the conference. DNS resolvers, you can see the number of DNS queries versus the DNSSEC validation on the top, and the bottom, the truncated responses, and also the NX domain responses.
Tide, you need to speed up.
Speed up, okay.
Yeah, I think you were told to limit the slides. This is not a conference presentation.
Yeah.
Please move on.
All right. So we also had some people using external resolvers. I'll move on. We managed to have 25 live YouTube and Zoom sessions, 14 of them transcript, and 17 gigabytes of information, our video and audio we uploaded. Probably we had the edge room Wi-Fi for the first time, and we had route origin validation for the first time in the conference. I moved to here. So we were dropping about 1% of IPv4 prefixes and 0.43% of IPv4 prefixes in this conference. Still so much work to do to resolve the unknowns ones. Challenges, IP geolocation, wireless signal to noise ratio, ICMPv6 array, the user distribution and coverage and fair use. Probably that's it. I want to say this was a team effort. I want to give a big thank to my team, the IS team sitting over there, and also the Le Méridien IT team, sponsors, internet sponsors, UIH and CS Team 4, and also AV team sitting over there. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the last 10 slides were the most interesting. So I think we need to fix that. The Secretariat needs to fix their own reporting of the event. Thank you to the infra team for doing all the work. So the next presentation would be, Taiji has something to say?
Taiji from APNIC. Thank you for showing the RPKI data on the screen. Very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll invite Dr. Smith, wherever he is, to talk about the next APNIC meeting in Apricot.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I think we're getting to the end of proceedings. So it's time to start thinking about the next meeting. So the next APNIC conference, of course, is part of Apricot 2020. So on behalf of the APRICOT organizers, I would like to invite you all to Melbourne in Australia, mid-February next year. I don't have any presentation to show, but before the AV team show a short video, there's one thing special about this APRICOT upcoming. It'll be the 25th one that we've had. So we want to try and do something a little bit special, a little bit different. So we'll try and celebrate our 25 APRICOTs that we've had with the event in Melbourne. So I'd like you all to make a note in your diaries. The date's a little bit offset because we're squeezed in between two other conferences taking place in the conference center. So please be very aware. You can go to the APRICOT website. It's already there, 2020.apricot.net. We're starting to populate the workshops and the structure of the program over the coming month. The fellowship program for APRICOT will launch in early October, and we hope to have the registrations opening for APRICOT around about that time frame as well. So look forward to an exciting conference activity. We'll have all the usual features, the APRICOT Peering Forum. We'll spend quite a bit of time looking at RPKI, routing security, and so forth. Anyway, without taking up much more time, if you would please play the welcome video.
Get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening, and together make a beautiful life. And if you wanna see, then come along with me, that's right. And if you want a good tomorrow, it's pretty simple, gotta find a light to follow. And if you do, you have a future real bright. And it's a combination of consistency. Come on and sing, oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Oh, come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah.
So the finishing scenes was floating along the Yarra River. On the left-hand side is the Crown Convention Centre. We'll be in the convention centre of the Crown Promenade Hotel. I mean, the visitor video is for tourists to come, but we hope you come to the conference as well, apart from all the wonderful things there are to do in Melbourne and in the state of Victoria. So we'd like to wish you all there to come, and we hope to see you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Philip. Just for the regular APRICOT attendees, APRICOT generally is in winter. Remember, this is going to be in summer. Bring your clothes likewise. It's going to be summer in Melbourne, and it's going to be hot. So don't bring your winter clothes, or, you know, if you are coming from winter climates, be aware that you don't need too many of your jackets. I'm looking at people from Canada there, so hope you still come. Thank you, Philip. We look forward to Melbourne. Now we have a more exciting one. We are inviting the hosts of our APNIC 50, Bidut Bhai, to come and do your presentation. We are going to Bangladesh, Dhaka, for APNIC 50. And our host for the meeting in Bangladesh is going to be ISP Association of Bangladesh, along with BD Nog. And I'll let Bidut Bhai talk about it.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rashid Amin from ISP Association of Bangladesh. I would like to thank first to APNIC team to select Bangladesh for APNIC 50. This is a great opportunity. This is the first time the APNIC will happen in Bangladesh. Past we did a lot of SANOC and BDNOC program, but I think the BDNOC 50, it will be a big buzz in Bangladesh. And this time the APNIC 48, there are 64 participants from Bangladesh attended already. So we all from Bangladeshi are actually inviting you to be in Dhaka on 2020 in September 3 to 10. So, where is the next? Yep. So, we are not selected yet any venue, but today morning actually we did the discussion with the APNIC team. I'm just assuring you that it will be a very happening place. The hotel facilities would be good. So the currency rate, I'm just giving some information to you about Bangladesh. The currency exchange rate is 1 USD to 83 taka. Language is Bengali. Some people can speak about English also. Time zone is UTC +6. Weather is typically hot. Humidity is higher. Then no need any jacket actually. So GDP growth is 7.9. There are honorable visa system. So from the selected country can get the honorable visa, like US, Canada, Australia, and other mentioned here. There would be some visa fee, hopefully the 51 USD, and you have to also showing the some papers like the possessive minimum, the USD 500 equivalent to amount of foreign currency. You have to show them some necessary documents. Visitor must have the return tickets. There are some direct flights from different countries: Bangkok, Chennai, Colombo, Doha. Last time it was from Karachi also, but I think it stopped recently. The others are okay. There are a lot of services, taxi services. Beside that, you can find the Uber, Pathao, Shahaj, and Ovai. These three are the last three are actually our local vendors, companies. Those who are just providing the services through motorbike and taxis. Some attractions. This is you will find some places. The heritage place like National Museum, temples, fort. These are you will find the shopping place, and you will find mostly the souvenir types from Arong and some big malls, Jamuna Future Parks and Bosundara. Okay. So see the video.
About endless learning. Feel the vibe of the longest beach. Learn the power of inner strength. It's Royal Bengal Tiger's territory. For dangerously sweet reward, learn how to collect honey. Unlearn. Give yourself the surprise you deserve. Yes, you always loved racing. Learn to race without wheels. Here, that embraces. Who else can tell you to love your language more? Feel the pulse of magic. Here, life happens. Welcome to the School of Life. Admission going on. Welcome to beautiful Bangladesh.
So I wish we'd get a very good participant in APNIC 50, and we'll do make it successful all together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vidit Bhai. A few things. We tried to go to Bangladesh in APNIC 42, but unfortunately we could not. So we really look forward to going there. And I also realized that Bangladesh is not your, common country you go to. So you might have a lot of questions, and I see a lot of friends from Bangladesh in the room. So if you could all stand up, everyone from Bangladesh, just stand up. Anyone have any questions about the meeting, about Bangladesh? Find these people at the social, and I'm pretty sure they'll be very, very happy to answer everything you want to know about their country. Thank you very much. One of the things the video reminded me is the Bengali music and the language is one of the most beautiful in the world. So if you are a music buff, you probably want to, go there. You can talk more about it later at the social event. So with that, we are coming quite towards the end of the meeting. So I'll ask Paul to go ahead and do the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Garib. Apart from saying thanks to you all for lasting the distance, there are a few special thank yous here to those who made the event possible. So these days, APNIC, EC and staff decide where the meetings are going to go, and then we look for hosts, and it's really important. And we're very grateful that the two most important internet organisations here in Thailand agreed to be the hosts of this meeting. So this is thanks again to THNIC, especially to Professor Kanchana, who was here, maybe no longer, and to her staff, Pensri and others. And then again to TISPA, the ISP Association of Thailand, and to Ms. Dr. Morigot and her staff as well. So they really did make this event possible, and they really do deserve a big round of applause. We have some top-tier sponsors. ADREX comes back each year, and they've been with us supporting this meeting a few times. So thanks very much to ADREX for that continued support. ByteDance is a new supporter, a new top-tier sponsor from China, and a very, very exciting company too, who are with us for the first time. So thanks very much to the top-tier platinum sponsors. By the way, I will ask all of the sponsors' representatives to come to the stage after I've just finished here shortly, so that we can present some certificates and take a picture. In addition, we've got other sponsors and supporters. We had Google, True IDC, CSL, UIH, APG, Paracom, TWNIC, CNNIC, JPNIC, IPv4 Global, Hilco that is, Laris, Internet Society, the TCB, and MekongNet as our other sponsors. So thank you to all of you for coming to this party. We have a lot of volunteers who help out, so the chairs and co-chairs volunteer their time and effort to be here and also to prepare for everything that happens here in advance. Sumon, Bertrand, Xing Heng for the policy SIG, Billy and Sen Yu for the NIR SIG, and probably the newcomers, Joy and Bikram, for the new, as newcomers in the cooperation SIG. Also to all speakers and moderators here who contributed to the program. Thank you all. Dr. Bumindo, the NRO NC election chair, our scrutineers, friends from other RIRs, Leslie and Marco. We had Shaila, the program committee co-chair, the fellowship committee members, as well as the program committee members as well. Our ever trusty steno captioners. I guess Sumon might not mind me saying he's one of the more difficult people to follow at our meetings. His mind moves so quickly, and he speaks at a grand rate. But I noticed Nikki was capturing him perfectly, so that's pretty phenomenal. Sorry, Sumon, but I think you know. Thank you, Nikki and Catherine. APNIC EC, APNIC staff, who I thanked the other night, but they have all also made this possible for all of you. I hope the members and community members who are here have got to know a few more of the APNIC staff who are here, and I hope vice versa as well. The NRO NC, RIR colleagues, fellows and guests. And to everyone who attended. We saw before how many from Bangladesh are here. There were 64 on the list from Bangladesh. Sorry to inform you, you were beaten by Thailand. There were 65 from Thailand. But I think maybe given the distance involved, the Thai community would give it to you. So thanks to Bangladesh again. 35 from India, 26 from Japan, 21 from China, all came here to Chiang Mai. So thanks to all of those communities and to everyone else for making the effort to be here, also to participate remotely. So please do stay in touch with APNIC via these channels. We're going to present some thank yous to the sponsors now very quickly. So if the sponsors would join us quickly on up here on stage, we'll take a picture. Thanks. I think there must be some sponsors in the room. You know who you are. Penelope, good start. TW-NIC, CN-NIC. Let's go back in case. Sorry. Thank you. Sorry, this is not terrible.
No, thank you so much. Thank you. Always, actually. So do you want me to say?
Yeah, please do. Thank you. Please join us for the picture. Thanks to Do we have Google, ByteDance, TISPA? No? Okay, so let's take a quick picture then, right?
That's better. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to all our sponsors. I think we're pretty much towards the end. Once again, thank you to all the sponsors who make our events possible. No, not yet. Make our events possible, and I think this meeting has been quite successful so far. We had a very good attendance. We had a very good program. I think RPKI won the week. If you are talking about V6 and RPKI, I think RPKI got ahead a little bit. But we still need to progress forward with other technologies like V6 and DNSSEC and whatever else, so that we can continue to make the internet secure and open and keep growing along with it. I also like to thank all our EC members who've worked this week with the strategy planning session and through the EC meetings. And we'll still be here tomorrow because we still have work to do in meeting the RIPE NCC board. And as usual, thank all of the participants, volunteers, SIG chairs, co-chairs, speakers, who work hard to make this event successful. And also a big thanks to all our staff. And if all the staff could stand up, if they are sitting down, really appreciate all APNIC staff. Thank you very much for all your hard work and all the effort that goes into these meetings. Having said that, I think we look towards the next meetings. Okay, this is a great one. Okay. As we heard from Philip earlier, next APNIC meeting will be with Apricot in Melbourne. The conference dates are 18 to 21st. And as Philip reminded earlier, we are on a Tuesday to Friday schedule, outside of the usual Monday to Thursday that week, still the whole week. The venue there is the Crown Promenade, and the hosts are going to be Internet Association Australia. Coincidentally, they were also the hosts of Apricot when we went to Australia the last time. If you still remember, I think it was 2006 in Perth. They were called WIA back then. Now they are called Internet Association. The hosting organization for Apricot is now called APNOG. In the past, you must have seen APIA. It's now APNOG. But APNOG won't be a NOG. It'll still be Apricot. So that is the next meeting. And as we heard just before, the one after that, 1 year from now, will be in Dhaka, Bangladesh. So, I'd officially close this meeting now and declare the meeting closed, and hope to see you all in Melbourne. Until then, have a good, flights back to wherever you came from, and hope to see you all in the social event today the buses will start leaving at 6 o'clock. Thank you.